it wasn't always like this when it came to the finances, when it came to the money. Like right now we're in a position where we're starting to hopefully make some moves, or not hopefully, we're going to. We're in the beginning stages of it, trying to figure out what that's going to be, or what those things are going to be that are going to start increasing the cash flow and doing that whole thing. But it wasn't always like that. There was a time when there was debt. Yes. There was a time, and we've talked about all that stuff, and we've talked about last week how when it was hard, we didn't ask for money.
No. We
didn't ask anybody for money. No. We didn't take out any loans. We buckled down and we did what we had to do.
Yeah.
But then
we cut our spending. We cut our spending, and we made the decision. You and I made the decision that we are not going to buy anything that we don't need. We're not going to go out to eat. I mean, we really just got tunnel vision, and we knew where we were going. And by the way, we were debt free 3 times.
I wanted to talk real quick about, because that is something like borrowing money. Like that's something, I don't know why, but like people are super comfortable borrowing money from other people, right? And that's not something that we've ever done. You've talked about on this podcast before. You've always had that feeling when it came to borrowing money. For whatever reason, that was ingrained into you, maybe from seeing it growing up or whatever. And it was, I know for sure, for a fact, that that's what it was with me. Mm-hmm. You know, seeing my dad borrow money from my grandmother, and then the friction and all that stuff. And
it really causes a hardship on relationships.
But I think when you're getting out of, when you're trying to change things, you have to do it the right way. And borrowing money is not the right way to do it. The first thing, and I really thought about, like, what was the first thing that really helped us, like, get on that path and get on that track? And the first thing we got from Dave Ramsey. So if you guys want to make a change, if you want to do something different, the first thing that you need to do is cut the spending and start putting that money in an emergency fund. You need to get $1,000. It's not a lot of money, but you need to get $1,000 into an account and do not touch it for any reason. Because at that point, you have $1,000.
Right.
And then you focus all your money, all your effort on all the other debt. But if an emergency happens, if something happens, you don't have to go asking for money. You have $1,000 in that account, and you can use it for that. But you also don't want to bullshit yourself and be like, oh, this is coming up, that's $1,000. No, if you can plan it out, try to plan it out so you don't have to touch that emergency fund. Right. And that's one thing that we did, that we put as fast as we could $1,000 in that account, and we never touched it. We never touched it, and
then we worked ourselves up to 6 months of expenses.
We never touched it, and then we started paying off all the debt.
Yes.
We kept that emergency fund, paid off all the debt. To be honest, I don't remember ever touching that money.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to think if we ever actually used the emergency fund for like a water heater or whatever.
No, I don't believe we did. But I think
we left, we just, I mean, we always kind of figured it out. And it's like, look, if we don't have to, like, hey, can we get like another extra $350, $400 for this water heater? And we didn't touch that money.
Right.
But that's step number one. If you can't do that, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're going to do.
Well, too, it took us 3 different times to get it right, to stick to the plan. Because I remember there were 2 other times where we were debt free and then racked up the credit cards again.
But it wasn't
crazy. We've never had like a lot of debt.
It wasn't like it was the first time, because the first time was a few, like, tens of thousands. Like it was probably a couple.
Oh yeah, because we had car loans.
But the second time we racked it up to like 5,000-6,000 and then paid it off. And then we did it again and paid it off. But it wasn't like the first time.
And then we were just sick and tired of being sick and tired, like giving pretty much money when it comes to interest. You know, with those credit cards, we're giving money away.
Yeah.
You know, but it takes a lot of self-discipline. And if you are married, okay, it takes both of you to be on the same page.
Yeah.
That conversation has to be had.
Yep.
And the trust, the honesty, the integrity, all of it combined. I mean, I remember I used to shop for makeup at Dillard's and at Macy's, and I dropped down to L'Oreal. Do you remember that? Yeah. Like, I just, in order to start stacking cash and stashing cash and paying off debt, like, we both buckled down.
And you know what? For some people, if you have a regular job, it can be tough and it can be kind of boring, pretty miserable. If all you're doing is you have your salary and you're just cutting out all your expenses, no more restaurant, no more movies, no more none of that, and I'm focusing all my money towards debt, then, I mean, you can do it and it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can figure out a way to bring in income from somewhere else,
yes,
from a side business,
yes,
a side hustle,
yes,
because that's one thing that has never really made us getting out of debt like super miserable.
Right.
Because we always had the side business where we took all of the money when we needed to get out of debt. We took all of the money from that and put it towards the debt, and we knocked it out pretty quickly.
Right.
But then that's also kind of like some of the extra money that we have to do some things with and put money aside for investments. Mm-hmm. But that extra stream of income will make things so much better.
Yes. And if you're married, I've said it before. That's the number one cause of divorce is finances.
Well, one thing I was going to say about that was we also have to understand that we've been programmed. Like our brains have been programmed a certain way for such a long time. So when you're getting out of this thing, you're going to make mistakes. You guys will make, and you guys have to be on the same page, like you were saying, but you also got to help each other out. Like keep each other accountable.
Yes.
Like if your wife makes a mistake or your husband makes a mistake, like understand, like we've been doing this shit forever. Like we got to break these habits. Yes. So like, hey, say something, but don't give them a hard time about it. And let's fucking move forward now.
Yes.